Hi, I have some exciting news. Now, it's probably more exciting to me because it's a personal journey, but it might be exciting to you too. Because if you're my friend here on Facebook, wherever you're seeing this, it's probably because we met and you probably associate me with music. There's more to me than music, but this is about the fact that after many, many years, I am so proud and so excited to say that I've finished my first solo debut album. Now, it may sound kind of crazy because you probably seen me on here for many years, and I've been in bands for probably 15 years, and I hate to say it, like I've been doing this for 20 years, so it makes me sound very old. I don't really want to say that, but growth and old means wisdom. And so I'll explain really quick that, through my journey in music, most of my life I was always in a band, and that's why it might kind of sound weird. It's my first album ever, but it's my first solo album, which means that in the past I've always been in bands with people. So there's always people in the mix, you're collaborating with people. So whether it was me contributing just my lyrics or, whatever ideas, they would write the music, I would write the lyrics, the ideas and things like that. And, through that, it was cool and it was great. I had a lot of good experiences and a lot of good people along the way. But what I always felt was missing in that was me. Like I wasn't able to totally get my soul out there because I didn't write all the music or the lyrics, or I was always, when you're in band, like there's always some distraction, or the bass player quit, there was drama, or someone's fighting, there's egos. That is the nature of the beast with bands. So it took me a really long time to be able to get the confidence and I think really life experience to go and experience life and then really write about it. Now I've been playing the piano since I was 7 years old. I've grew up musical. I play the guitar, I play the harmonica. I do write my own songs. And it was just during those times, I always had felt I needed someone else. Like I don't think I was confident and really believed in myself ultimately. This is what this whole album is about. It's literally, I feel it's like my whole life it took to write it, journey of finding out who you are and believing in yourself. Really, those are the underlying tones and the themes to this whole album. It's really a journey of self-discovery, and I think that everybody's on that journey. We're really the main character in our whole life, and that ties into the name of the album. I'm so excited to tell you all about it, because to me it's more than an album. Literally taken me I would say a lifetime to write. And what happened was after the pandemic hit, things were going with me and my past and then the bands and stuff. I had a crazy story. Now everything comes from a story, right? I have a crazy story of like what happened and experienced the music industry. I lived in Hollywood, London, New York City. At times I thought I was going to be a star and I get all this money and stuff, and none of that happened. And it was like, oh shit, and then you get knocked back to the beginning after all these years with really, I felt very defeated and really dark. It was in a dark place for many years. But it was through that I was eventually just fed up. And I was like, you know what? I had everybody around me and I always felt like I was so out of control in my life. And that was because for many years, I had people do things for me. Like I was always needing, okay, I need a producer. We need a makeup artist. We need a photo shoot. We need someone to edit our videos. I need a manager. You need all these things. And don't get me wrong, on the journey, you do need people. You can't do everything alone. But for me, I had given like my control to everyone else. I was searching like, oh, can you help me? I need you to write this song, or oh, I need to collaborate with you. Or when realizing and not realizing at the time, but now like I always had it inside of me. I didn't think I could do it. I doubted myself. I didn't think I was a good songwriter, and then I would always have people, oh, no, I'll write a song for you and this, that. And, through that journey, I just got so freaking fed up because I was like, wow, I know I can do it. It was really this battle within myself. So that's really what this whole thing was about. So what happened in 2020, a lot of shit went down around the bands I was in, and I kind of just disappeared. And I never really told my side of the story because I was, to be honest, I was really felt defeated and broken down, and I just needed to escape. And I just needed some time to get back to me and reflect and heal my heart. I had a lot of tragedy in my life. My dad passed away. I lost other friends, my aunt, like all this happened at once around 2020. So it's about 4 years ago. So it was 4 years ago. I ended up moving back to Pennsylvania, to Scranton. Now I'm not there anymore, and I'll get into how I came to where I am now, which is actually in my studio. But I ended up in 2020 was like the ultimate breaking point where I was like, I felt so lost and then just like, oh my gosh. And I know the world collectively felt like that because like everybody's life just got ripped away from them. So I was no different, but at that time I'm like, what am I going to do? And the crazy part was more than ever, I had so much songs in me. I'm wanting to write and my heart was like just crying. And, they always say pain is good, is the catalyst, is that the word, to get it out there. Like you write through your pain. And it was like, I knew for me, it was like I had to write finally for the first time in my life. I was like, it's like the hardest thing I ever do, because I was like, I need to write every song, every lyric, every note, and it has to be mine for the first time in my life. Like I need something that's mine, and just to put it out there. Now in this time, the music industry has turned so much, like flipped. When I got back after many years, because when I started in, like I said, in 2010 or something, so earlier than that, but like when I really went out there, they didn't have stuff like Spotify or YouTube or the X Factor. It really was like you were forced, like, no, if I want to make it, I got to go to New York City, or I got to move to LA or London or whatever it was. And they didn't have the access that they do it now. So I came back, almost feel like a world I didn't know anymore. I was like, oh my God, there's so many like apps and programs and build your own thing and all these technologies. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So it was exciting, but it was scary. I feel so behind because like there's like for 15-year-olds now, it's a whole new generation, and they are like blowing me away with it. They have their band and their video, and I'm like, where the hell was this like all these years? I needed it, like, so it was this like good thing and bad. So it was the light and the dark for sure. But like I said, I knew I had to learn all this stuff. It was like starting over again, but I was determined. I was really determined. So I was like, I have to do it. So anyway, the results of all that was the album that I finally finished. And it's funny because it took me so long, and now I'm just like, okay, great. Now nobody else buys albums anymore. Like, is that the story of my life? It's like finally, and now it's like too late, but it's never too late. So it's not like that, but it was just like ironic, you know what I mean? But that's life, right? It's a tragedy of life. And this all plays into the title of my album and everything, what this album is about. At the end of the day, I'm really proud of myself, because it was that moment where I was like, oh my gosh, I have nobody now. I'm literally back home where I grew up. I have nothing but myself, my piano. I had grief because my dad just passed away, and it was a time where I really got deeper into my faith and spirituality and said, like, what are these lessons? What is this about? Like, can I triumph this? Can I get through this? There was doubt, a lot of doubt, because it was hard, and I was very sad and broken and alone and defeated, I felt. But that's where the music really came out. And so I was working other jobs, and I said, I'm gonna do this myself. I'm gonna pay for it myself. I didn't have a team. I didn't really have a huge budget, but over the course of about 2 years, I went back into the studio. I would go in for maybe a couple of days and then save up some more money, and a couple weeks later, that's why it took so freaking long. So when you do things DIY and you do it yourself, you pay for it yourself, and you have that control then, but it takes a lot longer. So it took a long time, but what was so different about this album was I was finally able to bring a lot of my piano into it, all of my own writing. And I worked with one guy. He did help me with the buttons. He was the engineer, but I produced it. And I told him exactly, I gave him the guitar parts. Now he played the guitar. I'm not a electric guitar player like that. I played some rhythm. I played all the piano you hear. I played all the string arrangements, played the harmonica, and obviously sang everything. I wrote every note, every lyric, everything you hear, every tone. It was all me. And that was something I was so proud of, because all these years it was always, oh no, you should do this. And I didn't really know. So I was like, okay, that sounds good. And yeah, there was good people and the good things were created, but it was never like me, because I didn't know how to do it. So again, the past couple of years, I went back, I learned how to edit more, like videos. So now, during that time, I said, when I'm making my money and getting some money and working for it, I don't want to pay anyone else anymore to do it. I was like, instead of hiring a photographer, I'm going to buy the freaking camera and learn how to do it, and buy the lights, and buy the music equipment, and buy my own, Logic or Pro Tools, the things that you need to make this kind of music. And so that's what I've been doing the last couple of years, and that's where Passion Productions came into it, where I said, well, why don't I just start my own content like studio, where I could go into my studio and do everything I need that I would have asked someone else to do. So that's where I'm at. And I spent the last couple of years getting a lot of the equipment, building the sets. And what I'm doing, I want to bring people who might be interested on the journey. And that's why I started like a Patreon page, where it's something where you can subscribe. It's a couple dollars a month. There's different like levels where I'm going to be going through this journey and showing you really the artist behind the journey, and showing what it's like for most ordinary people who don't have these big teams and who don't really want them anymore. You know, I'm at the point where I want to be in control of everything, and it doesn't mean down the line I don't want help, but it's more like I knew I needed to start and really take the reins in and say, no, this is the vision, I'm in control of this, and then get the pieces as you go, instead of the other way around where I need you, I need you, I need you, because that really, it brought me into a bad place. It wasn't good, because I really felt at the end I was like, I had nothing. Didn't make any money during that whole time. I've never made money in my music career. Can you believe it? It's not a lie. But I learned from those mistakes. Like I did a pledge campaign. Now this is where the Patreon comes into play. I did a pledge campaign, and believe it or not, we made a lot of money. And the best part of all of that was the fans. Like that's what kept me going, and knowing that there are people out there who connected with what we were doing. The mistake was we spent all that money on the album, on the music, on the recording, not leaving enough for things afterwards, like marketing, advertising, for touring, for all this stuff. It just all went into the music, the recording. So there was nothing left. And I was like, oh. So I learned, I said, well, this time what I'll do is record the whole album. So again, it took time. I paid for it all myself for over the course of a couple of years, but now I had the product. So now it's not like, you know, any money I might raise from this now is going to go into building Passion Productions and releasing it myself through my own way. And that's where it's different now. So it's not so much stress. It's like, it's there. I'm planning to release it in January. Now, but you don't have to wait for new music till January. At the end of this video, I'm going to do a clip so you can get a little idea of what it is. And if you're interested, go over to the Patreon and check it out and see what it is, because I wanted to make something that is not just about me, it's not just about my music, it really is about the journey and everybody who could relate to kind of this idea of taking control back of their life and not being the underdog or being the underdog and rising up and going against circumstances and going into yourself and saying, like being proud and saying, you know, I can do it. And I think it's just being that support, because I know I'm definitely someone who understands the downs of life and knows what it's like to be alone. And I really, honestly, over the past couple years, I really missed everybody, and I missed having something to be a part of. So I thought, you know, start it and bring that community together. And yeah, it's based around the music, but there's more than that, because I'm really putting a lot of thought into this and showing things I learned over the years, like tips and tricks I learned along the way from Hollywood and all that, and apply it to how do we do that ourselves? Like, how do I get the lighting right? And how do I get the camera looking like a cool music video? Because most of these people you see, like artists that come out, you know, famous ones like Gaga, Taylor Swift, they have millions and millions of dollars around them just for their market, their image. And, you know, most ordinary people don't have that. And they dream of a big record deal and, oh, I can't be anything without it. But those days I feel like are gone, and there could be a middle ground. So that's basically what I have been working on and creating. I'm so excited about Passion Productions. If you go back to my YouTube, I started it a couple years ago. I did a whole thing called Hollis Playhouse, and it's where it started. I ended up on another crazy journey that ended up, I'm in Maine, in Frenchville, Maine. Bonjour. So I'll tell you more about that. But yeah, it's, you know, you could really help out and be part of it. I'm going to be doing live streams. I'm going to be doing, not paid, but like subscription, pay-per-view. That's what I meant. Shows showing like before the album and stuff. And anyone who signs up, you definitely will get, you're going to get stuff right away. Like I did a digital download, something inspiring, things like that. I'm going to do like lyrics to the songs, what they're about, and like how you could actually even think about it in your own life. Because again, to me, it's not just an album. It's just not just about the music, even though the music is like, music's the soundtrack of it all, of the light and the dark. And the first song I'm going to release is called Shadow Dance. And I love it. I love it. And it's so exciting. And I'm going to tell you all about it. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. I mean, there's so much more, but I'll put it for the Patreon and come over, like you'll see exactly what you can get, and you're going to be a part of the journey, because I really, you know, you do this for other people. You do it for yourself, but you do it for your fans and the people who might connect with it. And then, you know, you give me your input, and I want you to be involved in it. Say like, maybe what should the next single be? Do you like this logo? And we're going to build together me and the transformation, and showing, you know, I want to be proof that you can do it. You don't need to compromise like your vision or your, you don't have to give control. You could take back control and you can make it happen yourself. What's the most important, it's not just about money. It's not about how much money you have. It's about like perseverance and talent and soul and passion. That's what it's about. Because like I said, hopefully I'll be living proof of that we're going to make a music video together, and you're going to show you the journey, how we're going to do it with lighting and makeup and like all these things. Like I said, back in the day, it was a long time ago, like they didn't have Amazon that was like, oh my God, that outfit, how can I get it? Could order it. I could get it in a couple days. Like it would be me walking down St. Mark's Place in New York City looking for like this jacket I saw for like 3 weeks, or knowing the vision in my head, but nowhere I could find this cool pair of sneakers. Like it's come a long way. So it's exciting. So I think the proof, I wanted to say like, you're never too old. And this is like really like the hero's journey and the dance of light and dark. And that's why Shadow Dance is my first single, because I wanted to show that life is about integrating the dark pieces of yourself and not hiding from them, and then learning to live in the light and appreciate life, because we're only alive once. Life is a gift. And I say all this in my music, but I think it just took a long time and, a lot of pain and loss and, tragedy. But then there's also comedy, and there's happiness and joy. So there's uplifting songs too. It all feeds into this story, which I'm going to tell you what the name of my album is. Come over and see the Patreon. And I know this is a long video. I hope you watched it to the end. And if you did, thank you. And you're interested, I would love to connect with you again and come and see my Patreon page, which I'll link below, and you can see a little bit more about what it's all about. All right. See you soon. Bye. Shadow.